the cycle of our project, Meeting Russia.
Today we are continuing our project, virtual project, Meet Russia. And first of all, I would like to make some remarks about the technical side of our meeting today. You have instructions for choosing the English simultaneous translation on our chat. So please click on the icon, globe icon in the bottom of your screen for those who want to follow us in English language. Для тех, кто хочет продолжать слушать нас по-русски, пожалуйста, выберите.
If you want to continue listening us in Russian, please choose Russian. At the bottom of the screen, you can choose the language that you need. It's the icon in the shape of the globe. Today we have simultaneous translation into English, and the whole meeting will be in Russian. We welcome all of you who were able to join us at another meeting within the project Meeting Russia. And today we present to you a unique region. It's the heart of Russia. This region is located on the big river of Volga. It's the Ulyanovsk region. And with great pleasure, I give the floor to the representatives of this region. And first of all, I'd like to give the floor to Denis Ilyin, the director of the Agency for Tourism of the Ulyanovsk region. Thank you. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, dear friends. While I'm trying to set the demonstration of the screen, I'd like to wish all of you health. These are very difficult times we're living in. Right now, I'm self-isolating, and that is why I'll represent my region from home. But before I start, before we all delve into the presentations of our region, if you don't mind, I'd like to give the floor to Evgeny Miller, who represents our Agency for Interregional Relations. I give the floor. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Good afternoon, dear participants of this online meeting. If you allow me, I'd like to give you a couple of words about our region with its rich history, beautiful nature, developed economy. In our region, we have the aviation industry. We build aircrafts. We produce cars and various vehicles for transporting different goods. And people from Uganda came to us and said that in safari in Africa, our vehicles that we produce in our region are in high demand there because in that region in Africa there are no roads, and our vehicles are able to cross any distances. And we have many other industries that are developed here. I'm not going to go into details, but thanks to good investment climate and our large experience of working with foreign investors, we are implementing a number of projects, and many companies are working here from different countries all over the globe. We have the American plants here who produce feeds for animals. We have the Japanese company Bridgestone who works here, and they produce tires for cars. The German-Mexican company produce spare parts for car engines, and so on. And I must say that, of course, we are trying to do everything to be open for cooperation. We are cooperating with a number of countries in the world in trade, economy, and cultural humanitarian areas. And Belgium is among these countries, and we're very happy that we have constant, permanent contacts between Leuven Transfer of Technology Center, with the Leuven Catholic University, and we have ties between universities, and we are working in the technological valley. And in our museum, it's the regional museum of art. We have the Belgium artists paintings here. Jan Frans, Van de Bragel, Bredel, Lemot, Van den Broek. All of them are presented here. My apologies if I have some mistakes with the pronunciation of the names of these great artists. And we're also especially glad to see that our region is of high interest for many people around the globe, and they know very well that here it is the motherland of many politicians, many artists. Of course, Lenin is one of the most famous people who came from this region. And in Belgium, there was the second meeting of the Russian party in the 20th century, and Bolsheviki. The Bolsheviks were a separate power, and that happened in Brussels. So they were announced as power in Brussels. And I'd like to say that the nature of Ulyanovsk, the middle region of Volga, is very beautiful. These are lakes, rivers, and many years ago in this territory, there used to be a sea, and the fossils of ancient animals can be seen in the Paleontological Museum in this region. Also, over 2,000 years ago, the first settlements appeared here in the Middle Volga. And also, I'd like to give you another example. My friends, before the pandemics, 2 years ago, they didn't know whether they should buy a new car or not. And they decided to buy the new car. And in a year, they went to Greece, to Finland, and Thailand on their new car. And I think that the tourism and the possibility to see the world is great. Yes, we have internet today, but the opportunity to go to another country, to see the world, it's the opportunity to get rid of stereotypes. So I think such events as this one will enable all of us to open to discover something new for us about Russia. And I'll be happy if tourist companies and tourists from Belgium will be able to come to Russia this or next year, especially our region, and will be able to discover another beautiful and interesting part of our big and beautiful planet, loved by all of us. Thank you all. Thank you to all the participants of this meeting, and I wish you all the best. If you have any suggestions for cooperation, we're always open for discussion.
Позвольте мне, пожалуйста, включить мое видео.
If you don't mind, I'd like to demonstrate the video. I'd like to demonstrate a picture. So I'll need some help from the organizers of the conference call. I'll be happy and grateful if you could help me.
Коллеги, получается у меня включить видео?
Colleagues, can you see the video? Dear organizers, can you see the video? Thank you. So once again, I welcome all of you. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Denis Ilyin. I'm the director of the Agency for Tourism of the Ulyanovsk region. I'd like to thank the representative of Rosssotrudnichestvo in the Kingdom of Belgium, Vera Bunina, for this meeting, because this format of the meeting has become possible thanks to her. I think it will be as useful as possible for all the participants of this negotiation process. And I'd like to go into the presentation of today's meeting. Indeed, our region is very rich. There are many types of tourism flourishing here, and the city of Ulyanovsk was founded in 1648. It's in the Volga upland on the banks of the river of Volga and the river Sviaga, and these two rivers are flowing in the opposite directions. That's an interesting fact. And for tourists, it's easier to travel to us by taking a flight from big cities, from Moscow, and our region is connected with the capital by flights. It will take you an hour and a half to travel to us. Also, you can travel to us by railway. There's a train that leaves at night from Moscow, and in the morning you will be in Ulyanovsk. Ulyanovsk is the only city in our region where you can see two airports, international airports of the A class. We have the international railway station. It's the main railway line. We are on the Volga River, so we have the river port where we accept over 100 cruises annually. So this cruise tourism is also accessible here. The city has become famous around the world as the motherland of Lenin, the leader of the world's proletariat. So many sites and landmarks are related to his name. There are many tour sites, and the main source of tourism here is the recreational, the health, the events tourism, the business tourism, environmental, children's, medical, industrial tourism. And there's also tourism for children. Everyone who comes to us says that our city is a museum under the open sky. Here you can see unique museum complexes, objects of national, world, cultural, and historical heritage. Over 80 museums are concentrated in our area. Over 2,000 objects of cultural heritage can be found here. The unique features of our Ulyanovsk region is that it's located on the banks of the river Volga. We have the water surface 40 kilometers wide. So this place is called the Volga Sea. And here you can see the best views of the great Volga River. You can see the whole Volga in its whole length here. So if you want to see the Volga Sea, then you should come to Ulyanovsk. Another interesting fact about Ulyanovsk is that, as I said, we have the Sviaga River here as well. It's flowing in the opposite direction in comparison to Volga. Volga flows from the north to the south, and Sviaga from the south to the north. The development of the ecological tourism is closely related to the natural heritage of the region. Here we have 142 special protected natural territories, 125 natural monuments, 17 state nature reserves, and national parks of the federal significance, and the geopark. The total area of the protected natural areas is 180,000 hectares. It's around 5% of the total area of the Ulyanovsk region. So we're very close, almost in line with the European standards. It's 5% of the territory, of the total territory area. We have the national park Sengilevsky Mountains, the geopark Endorium, and the landscape natural monuments Kripinski Kuchuri. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the Sengilevsky Mountains. So here we have the landscape reserve Sengilevsky Gory, Sengilevsky Paleontological Reserve. Here you can see the traces of the rare types of fossils of flora and fauna. We also have the Shilovskaya Lesser Steppe Reserve. So these are the protected relict steppes that almost disappeared in the middle of Volga. Also, we have the hill Granuye Ukho. There, the atamans of the Volga Cossacks would try to rob the merchants who were trying to cross the Volga River. The landscape, landslide depressions, and all tourists get very beautiful pictures. And the national park is one of the youngest one because it was founded only recently. Another interesting area, in our opinion, and in opinion of our partners, it's the Undoria Geopark. We created it in 2018. This is the territory that combines health, cultural, educational, recreational tourism. You can ride a horse there, you can ski there, and it's unique because it's one of the very few places in the world where you can research the geological layers from the Middle Jurassic period to the Cretaceous period. So they're up to 65 million years old. So it's very interesting for tourists who can go to the excavation places. They can find the Simbersid stone, and it's many years old. And of course, the Undorovsk Paleontological Museum is the landmark of the Geopark Undoria, and the representatives of this museum will tell us in detail about this museum later. And also we have applied to UNESCO, and UNESCO is seriously considering this territory as the object of the World Heritage. And we hope that this year the representatives of UNESCO will come to our region. They will inspect the geopark and will make the decision and include our geopark in the list of the protected areas. Recreational tourism is very interesting. Indeed, it exists in our region. There are objects that promote the development of this type of tourism. Here, there are the sanatoriums that are among the 18 unique sanatoriums in Russia. This is the only resort in Russia where the water is rich in organic substances. And here we have the sanatoriums named after Lenin, Sanatorium Dubki, and many other objects. And the sanatoriums were built around the drill hole, and the depth is around 1 kilometer. So from there, they get this healing water. And also we have the blue clay here that also has the healing capacities. And these, just to get these procedures, many Russian and foreign tourists come to our region in order to improve their health. Another interesting feature of this resort area, apart from the mineral water, I'd like to say that, by the way, the water has very similar composition to the water in the Karlovy Vary in the Czech Republic and Truskavets water in Ukraine. There's the mineral water Volzhanka, probably you heard about it. It can be found in the Undora. So you can find in sanatoriums this water, and you can improve your health by drinking this water. And also there's the Volzhanka type of water. You can find it in Russia and even abroad. And this water is produced by Ulyanovsk mineral water plant. Since 1967, they've been producing this water. There are over 13 health resorts in our region and around 8 sanatorium preventoriums. So here you can see only 3 of them. These are just the examples of the eco parks that can be found outside of the Ulyanovsk city. You can see the Arkhangelskaya Sloboda, the Slavanskaya Podvorye. These sites are very popular. Every year, up to 97, 99% capacity of these parks are used. So these locations are very popular. There are many tourists from other regions who come to our city. Pilgrimage tourism is also a very interesting area. Here we can see the Orthodox Christianity objects in the majority of them are the Orthodox Christianity objects. And we have the Nikolskaya mountain, the Dmitry Solunsky church. We have the Resurrection Church, is the Neo-Byzantine style. We have the Yanovsky Monastery and Mikhailovsky Convent. So indeed, there are many things to see here. And we are now developing the pilgrimage tours so that they will be more systematized, so that the objects of the religious heritage would also welcome tourists, so that everything will be convenient and comfortable. So we are now creating this product because we see a lot of potential here. And as I said, well, the river Volga, so we cannot do without sailing here. We have the sailing sport here, the sailing tourism here. It's developing very fast here. We have very big water body, so we can hold international competitions in our region. Here in our region, we have the Sailing Federation of the Ulyanovsk Oblast. They organize a lot of events here. And this year we've developed together with the Sailing Federation the sailing directions, so that people could travel by their yachts, by their sails, whether it's with a motor or not. So we're trying to improve the quality of the infrastructure along these sailing directions within our region, so that people could anchor to the anchorage places, so that there would be the service provided, so that they could charge their vehicles and get gas if you need. So those who like this tourist, this kind of tourism, so that they would feel comfortable here and welcome here. The Ulyanovsk region is a very interesting entity of Russia for the development of cultural and educational and event type of tourism. On this slide, you can see a huge number of museums on the territory of our territory. There are many historical monuments, and of course there are key objects that are must-sees. And they're included in all major programs in tourism that our tour operators, federal tour operators are implementing. So I'd like to draw your attention that the dominant feature of Ulyanovsk is the Lenin Memorial Complex. It's the museum memorial. Here you can see everything related to the life of Lenin. It's a unique building, and I think it's even more important that mausoleum, and I'm not afraid of saying so, because it's a very impressive building, and what you can see inside, and here we can see the large-scale reconstruction of this object, and around 6 billion rubles have been invested in the reconstruction process. So soon we are expecting the new tourist object that will generate a lot of activities. There will be many tourists who will come to our region. Lenin's memorial complex includes also the house where Lenin was born. It's the Lenin's House Museum. It's the house where the family lived, so it's of historical importance. And this is also a must-see. Everyone wants to go here. Another unique object that I should mention, and my colleagues will tell you more about the potential of this object. It's the State Historical and Memorial Museum Reserve, the birthplace of Lenin. It's of federal significance. It includes 17 museums. It's a unique museum in Russia that isn't in its original state. It's the street with the preserved houses. There are many expositions there, and you cannot just avoid going there, because it's always included in our tour programs, and it's so unique that you'll never be able to find something similar in Russia, and colleagues will tell you about it later. And of course, there are other interesting objects and sites. It's the original local law museum and the arts museum. You could see them on the slide. The Ulyanovsk Regional Museum of Local Law are named after Goncharov. Also has been reconstructed. On the three stories of the building, you can see different expositions related to the creative work, to the biography to Goncharov, and also there are unique clock. There is a unique clock here that is the symbol of the city of Ulyanovsk. Right now, you can see it on the slide. It's the most beautiful building in the city of Ulyanovsk. There are many expositions there, and those who like the work of Goncharov, they will be able to appreciate this exposition. And indeed, if you liked the work of Goncharov, this is a must-see for you. It will be very interesting. Another interesting object is the Ulyanovsk Aircraft Museum. It was founded in 1983. There are over 4,000 items. 730 are the originals. It's very close to the territory of the airport. So the aircrafts, you can see them, and you will be able to understand what it was like, how the flights took place, how the passengers were seated within these crafts. Here you can see the fastest aircraft to 143, or rather 144. It took a flight from Almaty to France. It took only one flight. It's a unique item in the collection. We have also the American Concorde, and it's not used anymore. But I think indeed it's worthwhile going to this place. In the territory of our region, there are over 120 various theme routes and tours. Most interesting are the charm of the Old Simbirsk, the walk along the Moskovskaya Street, the abode of muses, the noblemen of the Volga, the aviation, the aircraft capital. And the noblemen of the Volga, this project will be supported by the government. It will receive the necessary financing. And why is this project unique? It covers three areas of time. It's the Simbirsk of the times of Karamzin and Goncharov, the Simbirsk of the times of Volodya Ulyanov, and the contemporary Ulyanovsk. So you can choose a particular tour. You can stay for 1, 2, or 3 days. It depends on the amount of information you want to get. This is part of the federal project, the Great Volga Path, the red tour, the red route. Its target audience, it's the European tourism. We tried to adapt it to our Chinese consumers, and we have done a lot of work. We united the museums with a common idea, and they decided to present this in Ulyanovsk as the unique territory. It is the historical quarter that will immerse you in the atmosphere of the Russian province city of the 19th, the beginning of the 20th century. And the result of this work is this famous product, the Red Route, the Red Tour. It's ready to be implemented, and colleagues will tell about it later. They have worked themselves in this project, and they will tell us more about it. Another program back to the USSR. This program will enable you to see Ulyanovsk at its best, from the merchants' quarters of the ancient Simbirsk to the architecture of socialism. You'll be immersed in the period of the USSR. You will be able to see the kitchen, and there's also a restaurant, and you'll be able to try the dinner in the pioneer style. and you'll be able to undergo the procedure of becoming a pioneer. And there are interesting programs on the cruises with the music of that time. So this program is very popular today. There are special charter tourist trains. We meet these trains, and this spring we will continue working on this program. So it is still developing. Here you can see the tourist events. We have over 40 international tourist events of various types. The most interesting ones are the Volga path. Here we have the reconstruction of the battles. On the right, you can see the picture. There's a battle on the horses, and many people come to our region just to see it. We have the International Music Festival, World Epoch names. We have the Vintage Auto Show retrospective. As for the Boulevard Project, I'd like to dwell in more on it. This project is very popular. Last year, because of the pandemic, in summer, the situation was not critical, and 20,000 people were able to visit this festival. It's a huge amount of people, so the festival is alive, it's developing, and we hope that this year we will be able to hold this festival as well, and probably we hope that the restrictions will still enable us to hold such events in a safe manner, despite the quarantine measures. And we hope that all the events we've planned for this year will be held. Another interesting page of the presentation shows you our cuisine, our dishes. We often hear questions, what are authentic dishes, the authentic dishes we can try in Ulyanovsk? So, of course, you can find out more about our traditional cuisine through literature, through paintings, and we are conserving our traditions, and our restaurants are doing the same. We have the local cuisine dishes in restaurants. And also, locals liked the French cuisine a lot, and that is why we also have the traditional cuisine recipes here. So the pumpkin cream soup with pancakes filled with pumpkin and the cream cheese, they all appeared in Russia. And also you could see the buckwheat, fried meat, pancakes, pies, pickled mushrooms, kvass, all that you can still find here. The development of the regional tourism is impossible without the contemporary high-quality tourism infrastructure. We have hotels for all stars that can be adapted to the amount of money you have. We have 12.8 thousand places. This is the capacity of our hotels. And previous year, we had 2 million people who we were able to invite to our hotels. What can you bring from Ulyanovsk to home? You can bring souvenirs. It's the Volga amber, it's Simbertsit. It's the unique semi-precious stone. You can also bring souvenirs with the Soviet symbols, gingerbread, cheese. You can also bring honey and balalaikas, and we have the whole large-scale production of balalaikas here. So all these souvenirs can be brought to home from Ulyanovsk. The main tour operators who are working in the area of domestic tourism and international tourism can be seen on this slide. And we think that we'll send this presentation to our colleagues so that you'll be able to learn more about us. So you will have all the contact details here. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I'll be happy to answer your questions in the chat. I don't know if it's convenient. We can do it in the chat. We can do it in the chat. And also, I can voice the questions that we receive here. Probably after each speaker, we can have a Q&A session, or at the very end. What would you like? Or how would you like to do it? Let's get back to the questions at the very end. So we'll voice all the comments, all the questions. So we ask our participants to ask all the questions in the chat. And a quick reminder, you can also, apart from using the chat, you can also use the button questions and answers. If you write a question in the chat, all participants of the conference call will be able to see a question. If you write a question using the Q&A button, only the presenters, the speakers, will be able to see questions. So use any way that's convenient for you, and we'll voice your questions after we've heard all the presentations. I give the floor to Denis. Then I give the floor to Olga Zotova, the organizer of guided tours at the Guided Tours Center and Educational Work, the tour operator. We give her the floor. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. The Historical Memorial Museum of Lenin Homeland is the museum complex in the heart of the city of Ulyanovsk. It's a unique landscape historical memorial complex consisting of 17 museums, 2 exhibition halls, and the Children's Museum Center. The Homeland of Lenin Museum Reserve is a tour operator of inbound and domestic tourism of the Ulyanovsk region. Our main area of work is training of the tour guides and the development of cultural and educational tours. We offer 14 tourist routes that can last from a couple of hours to 2-3 days in the city of Ulyanovsk and our beautiful Ulyanovsk region. In our video, you will be able to see the historical quarter. There are museums, estates, and interactive expositions. All these places show the relaxed pace of life of the citizens of Simbirsk of middle income. They'll help you learn about the traditions, their customs, education, and culture. They will give to tourists a collection of stories, of impressions, sounds, and aromas of the past of the province city of Simbirsk. This gives the opportunity to tourists and guests of the city to delve into the atmosphere and to learn more about the history of the Tsar Russia. So our museum invites you, is looking to cooperate with you, and we hope that together we'll be reliable long-term partners. Just a second.
It's time to start on a unique journey. Journey into the past of Simbirsk, Ulyanovsk, where you can learn about the foundation of the city itself and watch with your own eyes on authentic exhibits of 19th century and even participate in citizen everyday life of the past. Life where you can still enjoy remarkable Novkun-style masterpieces of local architects and feel the connection of time. Imprinted in your mind, in the historic center of a modern industrial city. The State Historical and Memorial Museum Reserve, the birthplace of Vladimir Lenin.
So this is a very short presentation from us. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Could you please switch off the screen demonstration? It's done. Thank you very much. Then, if you don't mind, I'd like to give the floor to Daria Fomina, head of Wildlife Division of the Ulyanovsk Museum of Local Law, named after Goncharov. Good afternoon. Unfortunately, Daria was not able to participate in this meeting today. I'm Stanislav Sturkov. I'm also the head of the Paleontological sector. I will tell you about the roots of the museum that are related with the landmarks of the Ulyanovsk region. In 2015, the Ulyanovsk region local law museum, named after Goncharov, was enlisted in the register of tour operators in Russia. We have 45 bus and walking tours, and there are the following theme blocks: literally Simbirsk, the city on the riverbanks, our cry, our region, all jobs are good, the nature of our region, and the cities of Povolzhia region. You'll be able to learn more about Ulyanovsk by learning about all the regional trends. Ulyanovsk, the motherland of talented people, Ulyanovsk, the labor of valor, Ulyanovsk, the aviation capital, Ulyanovsk, the literary city protected by UNESCO. The key element of the domestic tours is visiting the exposition of the museum of the local law and its subsidiaries. It's the oldest museum in the region. It was established in 1895, and it has the complete systematized collections related to the history and the nature of the region. The expositions tell us about the history, the nature, the culture of the peoples who have been living in our region from immemorial times. One of the in the highest demand are the following tours. These are the tours related to nature. Some of them have been mentioned by Denis in his report, but probably I'll repeat a little bit. One of such tours is the natural memorials of the city of Ulyanovsk. It's the bus tour that includes visiting the Vinovsky Grove, the Arboretum, the Karamzinsky Square, the source of the river Simbirka. The second tour, the Endorium resort area. You can visit the Volga-Sviarska watershed, the Undory village, the Untitled Paleontological Museum, and the source of the mineral water number 1, and the banks of the river Volga. The third route is the Akshot village, visiting Polivanov. You'll be able to visit the Akshot Historical Ethnographical Museum, named after Polivanov, the workshop of basket weaving, the ecological trail, visiting Polivanov, in the Akshot Arboretum. And the fourth trail is the Sengilevsky Mountains National Park. You'll be able to see the main sites of the national park. The Arbuginsky Hills, the surroundings of the Tushna village, the Granne Mountain, the Granne Uha Mountain, and the Shilovskaya Shishka Hill. In 2020, the Wildlife Division of the museum, with the support of the Governor Competition of Youth Projects, has implemented the new media project Proloti. It's targeted at attracting the wider audience, and we decided to create the video podcast consisting of 14 episodes with use of contemporary technical means, for example, a quadricopter. It gives a fresh bird's eye view of the unique natural sites of Ulyanovsk and Ulyanovsk region. You're able to take pictures of the wildlife, places, and wild animals, and get access to the hard-to-reach and impassable places. Expert comments are given by young specialists of the Wildlife Division of the museum and the invited experts, and you can find these videos on our official YouTube channel. And if you don't mind, I'd like to show you a short video with the beauties of Ulyanovsk and Ulyanovsk region. Enjoy the videos.
Ну, на этом у меня все. Спасибо большое
Well,
за
that is all from me. Thank you for your attention.
внимание.
If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So I give the floor to the next speaker. Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's move on to the Undoria Geopark. We'll give the floor to Maxim Petrugin, the head of the Department of Tourism, the guided tours in cooperation with Undoria Geopark. Good afternoon. Today I'll tell you about the Undoria Geopark and the tours of the Geopark. The Geopark Undoria was created on the 22nd of January 2018. Initially, it covered the territory of the Ulyanovsk State Paleontological Reserve. Just a second. Since the 5th of October 2020, the Geopark has established its new borders, and now its main territory is between the Volga and Sveyaga River to the north of Ulyanovsk, and it runs to the Republic of Tatarstan. The total area is 491.92 square kilometers. There are 18 geological sections here. They have the educational significance, and they are recognized. They have the recognized world status. The most important geological and natural objects are included in the list of the natural protected territories. It's the uncovering of the upper Jurassic sediments on the right bank of the Kuybyshev water reservoir. It's the Undorovsk mineral springs and the Brehova swamp. Also, you can find here the archaeological monuments, ancient settlements, defense fortifications. Within the infrastructure of the Geopark, the Undorov Paleontological Museum functions as a visit center. It's the departure point for tours around the Geopark, and it organizes trips and multi-day monitoring of the fossils of fauna at the territory of the reserve. And we have developed a number of routes of different levels of difficulty, and they encompass the most important geological, historical, and cultural objects of the Geopark. And the first tour, it's the journey to Endorium. It's an exciting journey, rich in interesting stories about the prehistorical past, the unique nature of the Geopark. You'll learn about the geological heritage. You'll see the defense fortifications of the Middle Ages cities. You'll walk along the floor of the ancient sea, find the remnants of the fossil animals, and walk along the relict woods and try the healing mineral water. Another tour is the walking the path of Yessico. It's perfect for a group of over 30 people, perfect for people who are not ready to walk long, but they will have to walk a little bit along the bank of the Volga River. A more difficult tour is the ancient settlement geological section. We'll show you the mineral sources, and also we'll use the hinged staircase to walk to the cliff and see the place where they annually find the bones of the fossil marine reptiles. And another route, the Crystals Valley, is perfect for those who's not afraid of steep hills. The participants will be able to find the sparkling droppings of crystals. It's perfect for the lovers of geology. And a 3-day tour, it's the paleontological expedition in the Undoria Geopark. It's the journey into the world of the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. Accompanied by the tour guide, you'll be able to search for the fossils, and we'll explain its importance from the standpoint of view of science. I'll show you a short video.
In the heart of the Volga region, on the banks of the Great Russian River, millions of years ago, a mysterious story began, and life was born. This land was covered with water, a real prehistoric seawater. It rose and went away, froze and melted. It became the creator of an incredible landscape. It is here that the unique cut of the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods is located. Dinosaurs lived here, and herds of mammoths grazed. Today, the Volga River gradually reveals the secrets of the drama of centuries-old evolution, fossilized remains of prehistoric animals, magical Symbasite, a stone that stores the heat of the sun, the energy of water, and the age-old secrets of the world. This is the paleontologist's paradise, Earth. It remembers the hordes of nomads and Stenka Razin, cherishes the memory of folk crafts, traditions, and faith. This land keeps in its bowels sources of natural mineral water with unique healing properties, known in ancient times. This place attracts seekers of real historical treasures, scientists and archaeologists. It magnetizes the youngest curious travelers, eager for adventure, and all those who are ready to plunge headlong into the conquest of the elements, recharge their energy, succumb to the call of nature and their pure heart. You can feel the breath of the planet, touch history with your hands, and feel the touch of eternity in one amazing place, in one fascinating journey. Geopark Endorium. Get closer to the solution.
На этом все. И
Well,
приглашаем
that is
вас.
all from me. So we welcome you to our Endorium Geopark. Thank you. Thank you very much. Filkina Svetlana, we give the floor, the director of Daily Tour Operator, the presentation of the brand tour, The Nobleman on the Volga. Good afternoon, colleagues.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, my name is Svetlana, and I would like to introduce our tour to the heart of Russia, Nobleman on the Volga. It is in the middle area of the river Volga, and Ulyanovsk city is a special city for Russia. Many famous people live there. Duration of the tour is 3 days and 2 nights. The total length of the route is 120 kilometers. On the first day, we offer bus and walking tour in the city center. Ulyanovsk is named after Vladimir Ulyanov, who is the leader of the Russian October Revolution in 1917. We visit place of birth and childhood. Also this day, we visit the Classical Gymnasium Museum and Museum of Fine Arts. On the second day, we prepare a special walk to the oldest part of the city. It's like it was in Simbirsk city of the 19th century. Ivan Alexandrovich Goncharov is famous for his novels describing life of noblemen in Russia of the 19th century. On the third day, we go by a very comfortable bus to the Russian village Prislanicha. Bus tour to the museum of the famous artist of the Soviet Union, Arkady Plastov. The house where Plastov resided is related to the Simbirsk period of life and work of the great artist. Arkady Plastov is an artist whose realistic paintings are popular until now, not only in Russia. When they are coming back, we visit the Russian Civil Aviation Museum. The accommodation is in the Radisson Hotel with 4 stars, an incredible view on the Imperial Bridge across the river Volga. For the price on the tour depends on the accommodation prices. For tourist group over 20 people, there are special prices and discounts. We connect 3 centuries and put them all into the one exciting tour, where our guests will be able to visit museums, walk in the central streets, taste special dishes of Russian cuisine, and of course, get a lot of exclusive memorial souvenirs. There are some unique resorts in Ulyanovsk region. They are based on the effective national components, mineral water springs, and on the modern healing schemes. Our tourists are welcome to connect the excursion and healing programs. Need our contacts, please. I'm glad to answer your question. You can send them on my email, and everybody is welcome. И на русском еще скажу очень важную информацию для наших...
And a very important information in Russian for our foreign guests. We're tour operators. As an inviting company, will help you with the preparation of the package of the documents to get the tourist visa to come to the Russian Federation. So if you need any help, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Svetlana. Viktor Kovalchuk, I give you the floor. It's a very important question. Our colleagues wanted to know about the program of assistance of voluntary resettlement of compatriots living abroad. We give you the floor. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, dear friends. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today at this conference call. The status of the program of the state program to assist voluntary resettlement of compatriots living abroad to Russia has a high status. It is because it was confirmed, adopted by the decree of the President of the Russian Federation. The next slide, please. And I'd like to say that, first of all, who are those people who are compatriots to us? This notion has explanation at the legal level. We have the 99th federal law of the federal legislation. It's on the state policy of the Russian Federation related to our compatriots who live abroad. These are people who are born in one and the same country, who used to live or are living in this country, have a common language, historical, cultural heritage, traditions, and customs, and also they have descendants of the, and also they have descendants. The compatriots are people who lived abroad, but are citizens of the Russian Federation. Also, the compatriots are people or persons and their descendants who are living outside of the territory of the Russian Federation, but who are related to the peoples who historically have been living in the territory of the Russian Federation. Also, these are people who made the free choice for the sake of the spiritual, cultural, and legal relations with the Russian Federation. These are people who used to live in the Soviet Union, who used to live in the countries that were part of the Soviet Union, or these are people who received the citizenship of these countries or who became persons without citizenship. These are migrants from the Russian Federation, the Russian Republic, the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, the Soviet Union, and the Russian Federation, who used to have this citizenship and who became citizens of the foreign country or people without citizenship. So the main principle of this program, it's the voluntary principle, being of age under being in line with the requirements of this program. The program is implemented through the network of the regional programs, and each region has its own requirements and terms for the candidate. But these requirements are similar. The fourth slide, please. Thank you. In the Ulyanovsk region, we have the following terms. The professional education. If the candidate is already in the Ulyanovsk region, it's being able to work and working or having business, so having income, in other words. Or these could be students of educational institutions who are currently receiving education at the territory of the Ulyanovsk region. Or these could be citizens of foreign countries who have already completed their education and are already working and have 3 years experience of work, so they are young specialists. The Ulyanovsk region is being implemented this program since 2014, and we have already accepted over 9,500 people, and over 7,000 people have already arrived here. Our compatriots who have already received the certificate of the participant have the right of entry to the Russian Federation and the Ulyanovsk region within 3 years after the receival of this certificate. Slide 5, please. The Ulyanovsk region has some priority categories of people. So these are specialists in agricultural area, medical workers. These are specialists of aviation industry, engineers, scientists, and students of educational institutions. So these are secondary vocational schools and higher education institutions. Page 6, please. Starting from 2014, we have accepted we have accepted 165 specialists of aviation industry, 249 specialists, these are the medical workers, 74 specialists of the agro business, 313 engineers, 11 scientists, and around 300 students. The next slide, please. The participants of the program and members of their family who are resettling to their permanent residence place have the right to receive the federal guarantees and social support. For example, it's the compensation of the expenses for the moving to a new place of residence. It's the compensation for paying the state tariffs for registering all the documents. It's the single settlement allowance. It's the support in the amount of 20,000 rubles per one participant of the state program and 10,000 rubles per each family member. And also it's getting some support, financial support for the period of time when the person does not have the source of income when they're looking for the job. And probably you've seen that I've mentioned family members. So when I was talking about naming some figures, there were some figures for the participants of the program, but also the participants can invite their close family members. This is covered by the program. These are spouses, parents, children, and children who, for whom these persons are responsible for. So the circle of people who are coming to the Ulyanovsk region is much bigger than the number of the participants. As for the support from the side of the Ulyanovsk region to such people who made the decision of resettling to our region, we have developed the system of the measures of support. These are the payments and benefits. It's the compensation of the expenses for the primary medical examination that will be necessary. It's also the assistance to a family with many children. We pay particular attention to such families in Ulyanovsk region. It's 7,300 rubles per each member of the family. It's the one-time support for the participants of the regional program if they're under 30 years of age. It's also the compensation of the expenses related to the notarization and the translation of the documents into Russian. It's up to 7.5 thousand rubles. It's also the compensation of the expenses related to the recognition of the certificates of education. It's important for some categories of people. It's around 6,500,000 rubles, and also it's the financial help of other sorts. So these measures are very important, and these are what the people are telling to us. Also, as for the rights of receiving such financial help, this help can be provided to people who already have the certificate of the participant of the program, which is given by the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Russia. If you want to apply for this program, you can apply it from abroad and also in the Ulyanovsk region and in Russia. If you're abroad, the application can be applied through the office of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Russia, or through a diplomatic representative of the Russian Federation. If you're in the Ulyanovsk region, you can apply to the Regional Department on Migration Issues in the Ulyanovsk region. It's the main coordinator of this program. It's the federal body. And as for regional authorities, we have the agencies. It's the execution body of the Russian Federation. It's the Ministry of Employment and Labor. On this slide, you will be able to see the addresses, the contact details, the address, the websites of our bodies, and also the email addresses. Our agency is happy and always ready for cooperation, to cooperate with any candidate, with any compatriot. We're ready to work on the individual level with all of you. We will be happy to consult you, help you with the organizational work, and we welcome you to Ulyanovsk. Thank you for your attention. I'm ready to answer your questions. Thank you. If you don't mind, we have a couple of questions in the chat, and I'd like to answer those questions. Can we reduce the number of days of the tour, the nobleman of the Volga? Yes, it is possible. It's the tourist product that consists of several days, 3 days, 2 nights, but you can work with it as a constructor. You can stay for 2 days, for 1 day in Ulyanovsk. You can combine or change the locations that you're interested in. So it is possible. Can we organize inter-regional route, Ulyanovsk and the neighboring cities? Yes, it is possible. Our tour operators offer such programs as well. Close to our region, there is Samara, Tatarstan, Chuvashia, Mordovia, and other interesting from the standpoint of tourism territories. So indeed, you can combine the tourist locations. You can visit Ulyanovsk and the Ulyanovsk region and combine it with visiting the neighboring locations and regions. This product can also be offered to you. Another interesting question. Why do we have the Museum of the Civil Aviation in our region? And I found the information for you. In accordance with the decree of the Ministry of the Civil Aviation, it's the decree number 97. According to this decree, under this decree, the museum was established. Here we can see the items of the aircraft. and it shows the development of the aircraft of Russia, aviation of Russia. Indeed, it's the largest museum of the civil aviation in Russia. Why Ulyanovsk? Why in Ulyanovsk do we have the widest Volga? Well, it just happens so that the aquatorium of Volga is the widest in Ulyanovsk. We have the Kuybyshev water reservoir. This water reservoir was constructed this way so that the Volga is bigger, is wider in the vicinity of the Ulyanovsk region, of the Ulyanovsk city. So probably we can argue and say that where the Kama River flows into the Volga River, there's also a very wide water body. But if we talk only about the Volga River, then here it's indeed 41 kilometers from one bank to another. So that just happened so historically. Any other questions?
Насколько я понимаю, вопросов больше нету,
As I
коллег.
see, there are no other questions from our colleagues. How would you suggest that we continue our work? In which format? Thank you very much. One more question about the organizing the press tour. We can organize this media tour. We have the contacts. We'll be happy to exchange the contacts with you, and the advertisement, the promotion tours. We have experience organizing such tours, and according to your demand, we can organize such a media tour. And we are planning to organize a tour with Alyan, a huge tour operator. So once again, the contacts. Vera, can we share our presentation because it has all the contact details there? Yes, of course, because the question comes from someone who is directly related to media tours. So we do need to pay attention to this request. It's the secretary of the Belgian Federation of the and the founder of the Russian-speaking bloggers. So indeed, the question of organizing the media tour, it's of the practical nature, it's very important, and we would like to ask you to indeed take this request very responsibly, very seriously. Yes, and the phone number, I can see it. Thank you. So I'd like to remind all of you that all the information, videos, presentations that were seen today, and all the contact details of the Ulyanovsk region will be announced on our website, rushouse.be. You'll be able to see the videos, get additional information, and you can go to the official website of the Russian House, rushouse.be. Thank you very much for the presentations. I was very happy to listen to you. Warm hugs from Serbia. Sloboda is writing it in the comments. Thank you very much for this nice comment. We're very happy to see you in our webinar, and we're very happy to see this warm comment from you. I have a question, if you don't mind. Our meeting comes to an end. I have a question from the philologist. Today, we have heard several times that at first the name was the name of the city was Simbirsk. Now it's Ulyanovsk, and all these names, they are related to the rich history of Ulyanovsk. How often are you going to mention the name of the city Simbirsk in the future, or is it going to be forgotten? Will Ulyanovsk be Ulyanovsk, or will it be Simbirsk? Well, historically, it just happened so that Simbirsk
преследовал в этой части, да, и мы
has
не
always been in our memory, and we're not going to forget about this name, because at the very entrance to our city, you can see the sign Simbirsk Ulyanovsk. So we love both names, Simbirsk and Ulyanovsk, the same. So we are going to use both names for our city. It's important for positioning our region because it's part of our history. So we're not going to forget about it. If you, from the philological standpoint of view, want to add something, please do. Thank you. In the chat, we can see the contacts of Anastasia, the head of the Department of International and Interregional Cooperation. Please, if you have any questions, write to her, Vera, and also have very short and brief information. On the 23rd, 25th of March, we are planning a visit of the Belgium-Luxembourg trade chamber representatives to Ulyanovsk, their visit to Ulyanovsk. Could we consider this visit as the possible media tour? I just wanted to give you this information so that we could probably include it in the visit as the opportunity to see the region. Thank you. I think it's a very good suggestion, Evgeny. It's the trade commerce headed by Oleg. These are our partners. We know them very well. Well, indeed, very little time is left before this meeting, but I think he'll jump into this chance to include it in the visit, if it's possible. Evgeny and my colleagues from the Ulyanovsk region, I'd like to say that we are always ready for any information about bilateral relations, contacts. We are always ready to spread it through our channels, through our subscribers, in order to include something else into your event that you're planning and to attract more public attention. So please update us on such information. As for this visit, we will also be happy to spread this information. So once again, I'd like to thank sincerely all our speakers today who presented this beautiful region to us. And I'm sure that for the majority of our Belgian and not only Belgian listeners, it was something new and interesting, because our meetings about Russia have usually a very wide international audience, and people from many countries watch us. And as I've just read to the comments, we know that our friends from Serbia also listen to us, and we have viewers and from Russia as well. Quite rather many people are watching us from Russia. So we thank all of you for this full, complete information, and we're sure that right now we have made friends with even more people around the world. We have more friends of Ulyanovsk. We have another episode of Meet Russia project. It's still Volga, but we'll go to the south. It's the beautiful city of Samara and Samara region. Olga Zelenkina, the representative of the administration and the governor of the Samara region. Olga, hello, we give you the floor. Hello, Vera. Hello, Evgeny. Hello, dear participants of the presentation. I was very happy to listen to today's meeting. I went to Ulyanovsk region, and I was there a long time ago, and the videos were very interesting. And it's great that I have an opportunity to go to Ulyanovsk soon, and I'm sure that Evgeny will invite me too. And next spring we'll go to Ulyanovsk. And Vera, thank you very much for this project, because indeed, unfortunately, regions of Russia, there are the so-called capital regions of Russia, and just other regions of Russia, whether it's Siberia or the Volga River, and no one knows where it is. And we're very similar to the Ulyanovsk region. And the Volga regions, they're all, in actuality, they are different from each other. They have their own specificity. And Ulyanovsk has just demonstrated its landmarks that make it so unique. And I do hope that on the 23rd of March, when we represent the Samara region, we will try to do everything to tell us what makes us special. We are one big country, and we will tell you what makes us unique and what we have in common. And we would like to demonstrate to you a very short video that our colleagues from the Department of Tourism have created for us, and to invite all of you to take part in the presentation on the 23rd of March. It's on Wednesday. We'll tell you about Samara in the virtual format, but we hope that in the future, probably at the end of this year, we'll have the opportunity to hold a similar event in offline format. Thank you very much. I'm demonstrating the video. Just a second.
Я прошу прощения, я вмешиваюсь.
My apologies for interruption. Olga, we do not have the sound. Just a second.
Пожалуйста, при демонстрации экрана включите звук.
Сейчас, минуточку.
Could you please also switch on the sound when you demonstrate the video? And if you don't mind, you can also switch on the presentation once again. And I'd like to say hello to Mr. Prozorov, who's also thanking our Ulyanovsk colleagues, and he's waiting forward to his visit to Ulyanovsk. We're very happy to see you, and we'll give you contacts of the contact details of the Samara region in order to organize the media tour. Thank you for your question. Now we should be able to hear everything. Well, I hope so.
Нет, еще? Нажимайте на play.
Так, минутку. Есть?
Он есть везде.
Так, подождите, там где демонстрация экрана.
Включи.
Just a second.
Подождите, здесь. Так. Нет. Пробуем. Идет, Вера Георгиевна? Звук.
Оно идет, но
Does it
почему-то
work?
вначале звук.
It works, but without the sound again.
Там
Вы-
при включении демонстрации экрана
When you
нужно
demonstrate the screen,
поставить галочку в
you need to
синхронизировать
put a
звук.
tick and synchronize the sound.
Увы, звука нет. Ну, зато очень красивый.
Still no sound,
Давайте посмотрим тогда.
but the video is beautiful.
Ну, замечательно. Звука, правда, не
That's perfect. Well, we didn't have any sound, but it's okay because still we had all the necessary text on the screen, and the pictures themselves, the views, they're speaking for themselves. They're very beautiful, exceptionally beautiful. That is true. So we invite you to come to us. Yes, we're looking forward to the meeting, and we hope that you will visit us as our colleagues that we're working with. We hope that they will also be able to come to Belgium with their offline presentation. And Olga, right now we're working on the projects of connecting the Ulyanovsk region cities with the Belgian province of Belgium. So we have the cooperation at this intermunicipal level, and I'm very happy to see that our deep, our industrial regions such as Samara region, Ulyanovsk region are strengthening their ties, their multifaceted ties with our Belgian partners, and will be very happy to implement such projects of cooperation. Olga, I give you the floor. My apologies for interrupting you, but indeed the pictures were fascinating. It's a pity because the music indeed was very rhythmical, but unfortunately there are some technical glitches. We'll do our best to prepare the presentation and to be not worse than our colleagues from Ulyanovsk have just presented themselves. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and we invite you for the meeting on the 23rd of March. Once again, on the 23rd of March, a date with the Samara region, with the Samara city. It's the big Volga, it's the heart of Russia. All the regions that we are presenting to you are the heart of Russia in one or the same way. We have already presented the Archangelsk, the Tambov region to you. Right now we have seen the Ulyanovsk region, the Samara region, then we'll move on to the Irkutsk region, to the east of Russia, and we cannot travel physically right now, but meanwhile, we will have a lot of virtual tours around Russia, not only tours, but also we'll see a lot of presentations and learn more about the potential of these regions, learn more about the tourism, economical, and other types of potential of these regions. Thank you very much. We invite you to our virtual platform of the Russian House in Brussels. We welcome you. All the information about the presentations will be at the Russian House Brussels Europe. Also, you'll be able to find us on our Facebook page and on YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Stay safe.